Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the gymnasium at Milford High School as Milford TV is getting set to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. This is Tim Coet on the call. I will be joined once again by Anthony Mazzini a little bit later in the broadcast. It is time now for the championship round of the second annual Scarlet Hawk Classic. If you were with us for our coverage earlier this week, you saw the Scarlet Hawks defeat the Tantasqua Warriors in the first round of tournament play, and that allowed them a chance to play for the championship for the second straight season. Of course, this is an invitational tournament Milford established last season. They were able to win the tournament last year, and now going for the repeat as champions. Waltham earning their trip here to this championship round by virtue of a 75-69 victory over Norwood High School back on Tuesday night here in the Milford gym. The two teams just finished up the consolation game in this invitational tournament, and that turned out to be a very exciting game. Norwood just edging out Tantasqua by a final score of 59-57. So Norwood winning that consolation game. Tantasqua, who played in the championship a season ago, comes away from this invitational with 0 wins to show for their efforts. But again, a very good close-fought matchup with a 59-57 win for Norwood in the early game. But now we get ready for the championship game, and Milford facing a Waltham team that is on the rise over the last couple of seasons. They finished up last year under first-year head coach Mike Wilder with just 4 overall wins on the season. They have already matched that win total in their first 5 games of this 2016-17 season, and that win total includes an impressive victory again over Norwood in the first round of this tournament play. And this has been a Waltham offense that has been scoring points at a very good clip early on in the season, scoring an average of well over 60 points a game, notched an 80-point total in a victory earlier this season over Acton Boxborough. So they are a team that can score points in a hurry. They're also a team that lives and dies by momentum swings. We've seen some of their early games of the season getting out to big leads, only to see those leads evaporate late in games, and ultimately they are able to come out with a victory more often than not. So an exciting team, a high-octane team in this Waltham Warriors program coming into Milford here today for this championship round at Milford, really hitting their stride in that victory over Tantasqua. An overwhelming victory. It got a little bit close towards halftime, but Milford really controlled that game for the majority of the night. A 69-46 win over Tantasqua, and you had a couple of career performances in that game. 22 points for Anthony Arcudi, a new career high point total, and Caden Kelly, who has just been a rebound vacuum over the course of the last 2 seasons. He collected a career high 21 rebounds in that victory for Milford over Tantasqua 2 nights ago. So 2 very talented teams on both sides of the floor. It should be a very good matchup here this afternoon. This game moved up. It was originally supposed to be a primetime game, but due to some weather in the area here today, it is afternoon basketball as Milford takes on Waltham High School in the championship round of the second annual Scarlet Hawk Classic. We will have the starting 5s and the opening tip of this game when we come back next here on Milford TV. And we welcome you right back inside the Milford gym. It is time for the championship game of the second annual Scarlet Hawk Classic. Your starting 5s for these 2 teams tonight. First for Waltham, Darren Batista, Billy Semeski, Matt Long, Justin Patine, and Mike DeVito. And for the Scarlet Hawks, it is the same starting 5 we've seen in the early days of this season. Anthony Arcudi, Shane Cosquette, Zach Tamani, Caden Kelly, and Alex Masick. Tim Coet and Anthony Mazzini here on the call. And Anthony, Hawks versus Hawks, this is certainly not going to get confusing at all over the course of the game here today.
No, absolutely not. Same name, same colors, same everything. But look, we're in for a really good game today. Milford came out firing on all cylinders in their last game. They really ended up blowing out Tantasqua. And Waltham against Norwood, it was a little bit closer, but both teams were very competitive. Waltham has one shooter who I think they'll look to again today. It's number 42, Mike DeVito. They used him very late in the game to try to get some quick buckets, so look for him to carry some of the load for Waltham, but we're looking forward to a very good game this afternoon.
Wide open look for Shane Cosquette off the first offensive possession of the day for Milford. And the shot does not land, and Waltham controls the rebound. Milford in the home whites, Waltham in the road reds. Still in the opening minute of play in the first quarter. There is DeVito. Ball handling, guarded by Caden Kelly, but he's able to elevate and get the shot for the opening points.
And not only can he shoot, he also has the length to score down low, so Milford's going to have to account for him down low on the block as well behind the three-point line.
Mike DeVito, no relation to Milford softball and Legion head coach Steve DeVito that we're aware of. Milford taking their time here. We saw a very high-paced offense for Milford through the first quarter of their game against Tantascwa. That helped them build up a big lead. Here, taking a lot of time, they set up the shot again for Cosquet. It's off the back of the rim. They call for the jump ball. And the possession arrow going Waltham's way.
And I think that fast pace really benefited Milford. We saw them last game, once they started slowing the tempo down, that's when Tantascwa was able to stage some sort of a comeback. So I think Milford is going to need to play fast. But that zone that Waltham was just exhibiting there really gave Milford some problems.
They set up another shot for DeVito. That one rims out, ends up out of play. This is a young Waltham team overall. It is junior heavy, only one senior on this varsity squad. It is number 5, Darren Batista. Here's the shot from Tamani. It's well short. Mesa collects the rebound, tries the turnaround shot, misses, kicks the pass out to Cosquet, who wasn't expecting it. And you can see Milford a little bit out of sync in these early possessions.
Well, they haven't seen much of a zone so far this year, as far as I know. Waltham with some length on that back line and some speed and quick hands up front, so Milford's going to have to look to get the ball in the middle of the zone and attack from there.
Batista drives inside, ends up getting the whistle. Waltham in their opening night game against Norwood, it was, again, just a game of momentum shifts. A different team led at the end of each quarter. Norwood finishing the first quarter with the lead. Waltham was able to catch up and take a halftime lead, only to fall behind at the end of 3, but then had a strong finish to the game to earn the victory. Meanwhile, 2 free throws out of Batista increase the early Waltham lead to 4-0. Bounce pass into Kelly. Kelly taking the contact. Now a foul apiece through the early minutes of this first quarter. Still just under 6 minutes to play.
Looks like Waltham is going to switch between that zone defense and a man-to-man defense.
Here's the first shot of the night for Arcudi, and he picks right up where he left off 2 nights ago, where he set that career high in points. 22 points for Arcudi in the win against the Tantascwa Warriors as that pass deflects out of play. It will be Milford basketball. Shane Cosquet taking the ball up the floor. Find Arcudi in the corner. They'll now immediately back outside to Cosquet. Defense closes in. Again, they swing it to Tamani now. He drives inside. Gets that shot partially blocked. Milford able to control the tip. And now Arcudi, a hard pass outside to Tamani, trying to spring him loose in that far corner. Now Arcudi finds a lane inside, but just can't finish. And the rebound is pulled down by Matt Lawn.
And Arcudi is so talented on the perimeter that Waltham is going to have to account for him on the drive as well. A quick little jab step there and a pump fake allowed Arcudi to get to the lane, but he couldn't finish.
That pass off the mark, but tracked down by number 14, Billy Semeski. Waltham can't control. Now Milford back up the floor. And Cosquet called for the travel. Milford trying to make the quick in-game adjustments against this Waltham defense through the early minutes. Now down to just over 4.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. Again, here's Batista inside, able to get the high floating shot over the reach of Kelly, but cannot sink the basket. And now a turnover on the Waltham side.
A couple of mental lapses on both sides now, a travel apiece for each side, as well as a couple other turnovers.
We had a day in between the opening round of the tournament and this final round. First game's taking place back on Tuesday the 27th, now here in the gym for an afternoon game on Thursday, December 29th. You can see the light streaming into the gym as this game was moved up to a 2:30 start time. Three-pointer home for Zach Tamani. Milford able to take their first lead at 6-4.
And if Tamani can get that three-point shot to fall, that would be very, very valuable for this Milford team. He's known more for a dribble drive penetration sort of guy and dish off to the assist. So if they can get him to score the ball from long range, that would be an added bonus for Milford.
The Hawks now with a chance to send the inbounds pass in. Cosquet doing a lot of the ball handling duties through this first quarter. Now it's Tamani. Can't find a lane inside, so sends it back out. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Cosquet guarded closely by Semeski, able to get around him, tosses the shot up, takes the contact. And the foul will go against Semeski. Shane Cosquet will shoot the first Milford free throws of the night. And we'll see Waltham go to their bench here. They send Kevin McAvoy onto the floor, the junior.
And that was Semeski's second foul, so want to get him out of the game early before he picks up that crucial third foul.
Milford can't connect on the second free throw, but they do control the loose ball. Now here's Kelly with the turnaround jumper, no good. A 7-4 lead for the Milford Scarlet Hawks. As now Batista battles against Arcudi. Now driving inside for the shot, Justin Patine. They call for the jump ball after the miss. And this time it will be the Scarlet Hawks who gain possession. Two captains on this Waltham Hawks squad. It is the lone senior Darren Batista and the junior Justin Patine. Tamani this time bringing the ball up the floor. Masick thinking about that outside shot, but doesn't pull the trigger. Now the inside feed to Kelly. They send it back to Masick. Coming down to 2.5 minutes to play in the first quarter as the deep three-pointer from DeVito hits off the back of the rim. Now Arcudi down the other end of the floor. His shot does not fall. Nate Davila can't grab the rebound, but able to get back defensively. Able to contest the shot. Good defense by Davila. Now from three-point range, Patine's shot no good. Tamani a little sloppy with the ball there, but able to recover.
And that pace that we were talking about earlier, Tim, is picking up a little bit now, and I think it's going to be advantageous to both sides. Both teams excel in transition and are able to get easy baskets.
Here's Davila. He'll unleash a three, in and out. No luck for Davila on that shot. Under 2 minutes to go. Batista drives inside and gets two. A 1-point lead now for Milford in what has been a low-scoring first quarter to this point. There's Kelly. He picks up ahead of steam. Meets a pair of defenders, kicks it back out to Arcudi, who cuts inside. That shot partially blocked on the way up. Here's Batista again. Davila nearly poking that ball loose. Now he goes down to the floor, able to collect the ball. And they're going to call a jump ball on that.
That looked like a fairly quick jump ball call by the referee. I think it was more of an instinct call than anything else.
That ball was well within the grasp of Nate Davila before the whistle, but Waltham gets the benefit. Coming down to the final minute of the quarter as Patine lets it go off the front of the rim. Milford with the rebound. And now Tamani inside for the layup.
Tamani might have gotten away with a little bit of a travel there, but the refs obviously didn't see it that way. Milford will take the 2 points.
Milford with Davila and Tomorrow out on the floor in this final minute of the first. High pass across the length of the floor, pulled down by Destine. Now the three-point shot from Kevin McAvoy is no good. And Davila will send the pass ahead to Zach Tamani. Good bounce pass into Kelly, but he gets the shot rejected from behind.
And what a pass by Tamani, but an even better block by Waltham. I wasn't sure who's going to get credit with that, but just an excellent defensive play. Never quit attitude by Waltham on defense.
Clock stopped right now with 14.3 seconds to go. A 3-point lead for the Scarlet Hawks at 9-6, as Waltham will inbound right in front of the Milford bench. Send it in to Destine. Almost loses the dribble, regains control. Now being pestered by Davila, who's played good defense since coming in off the bench. Final 2 seconds about to unfold, and Waltham won't get a shot away. Excellent defense on that final possession all the way around for the Scarlet Hawks, and they'll finish the first 8 minutes with a 9-6 lead and a much lower score after 1 quarter of play, Anthony, but still Milford overall playing a fine game so far.
Yeah, in comparison to their last game against Tantascwa, this was the score after the first 2 minutes of the game. But you know, Milford coming out very, very hot on offense, very good on defense, as we just saw in that last possession. Arcudi's got to be a little bit careful. He's very crucial on this offense. He picked up an early foul, so he's going to have to be a little bit careful on the defensive end. It'll be interesting to see how Coach Seaver manages him. But for Waltham, they need to start getting to the basket a little bit more. But that's going to be tough with Caden Kelly waiting down low. And for Milford, they also need to start getting the ball down low. A little dribble drive penetration. They just need to be in control with it.
So a very fast-moving first 8 minutes. Milford already right back out onto the floor. They send out Zach Tamani, Caden Kelly, Nate Davila, Zach Tomorrow, and Anthony Arcudi. As Waltham continues to talk things over, along with their second-year head coach, Mike Wilder, of course, Milford alum Paul Seaver on the sidelines for the Scarlet Hawks. Once again, we see girls head coach TJ Dolliver in the stands as a spectator, with the girls continuing a lengthy break for the holidays.
And Tim, you have to wonder if Milford's able to come away with this victory here today, if any team is going to be willing to play in this tournament next year. You know, Milford comes in, starting the tournament last year. If they win both years, who's going to want to start playing in this tournament anymore?
Waltham playing out of the Dual Valley League, which also hosts Lincoln Sudbury, who was one of the teams who participated in this tournament last season. If memory serves, Lincoln Sudbury did win the consolation game after losing to Tantascwa in the opening round of the tournament. So we've seen a couple of Dual Valley teams come in for this invitational event. Meanwhile, second quarter now to get underway. Zach Tomorrow with the inbounds pass to Zach Tamani. And the crowd ramps right back up for the start of the second quarter. Good mix of both fan bases in the stands for this one. Zach Tamani can't land the three to open up the second, as this ball now kicks out of play.
And again, good transition defense by Milford, not allowing easy baskets after a rebound by Waltham.
Waltham gets the ball into Ryan Power, the lone freshman on the varsity team, as now Milford forces the turnover. One freshman, one sophomore, and one senior on this Waltham team, the rest all juniors. Dangerous pass into Arcudi, he's able to handle it, now gets it back outside, and now it is Zach Tomorrow. Just off the mark on the shot, Caden Kelly tracking that loose ball all the way out to midcourt. It ends up in the hands of Tamani. Now here's Davila wide open from the wing, and he drains it.
And that play right there is all dependent on Caden Kelly's hustle. He didn't quit after he didn't get the original rebound, tracked that ball all the way to past half court, was able to tip it out to a guard and found Davila in the corner for three.
Now the quick timeout called for. Both teams head into the huddle. We're in the opening minute still of the second quarter with Milford now up to a 12-6 lead over Waltham. We'll take a very quick timeout as well. Back with more next here on Milford TV. The Milford Hawks on top of the Waltham Hawks by a score of 12-6 as we're back out of the timeout. Milford putting the pressure on in the backcourt. Waltham able to advance now, hitting Evan Clark on the move, but the ball ends up deflecting out of play. They call the foul on Milford, and that will send Clark to the line.
And that is Anthony Arcuti's second foul, and that could be crucial for Milford going forward. We talked about how important Arcuti is to this offense, especially beyond the arc. So it'll be interesting to see how Coach Seaver now manages his minutes for the rest of the game, at least for this half.
Arcuti sent to the bench. Shane Cosquet back out onto the floor. One free throw made for Evan Clark. Now Cosquet, dangerous pass into Tamani. It gets intercepted, and now here's Clark back the other way for the uncontested layup. And it's back to a one-possession game at 12-9. Kelly finds Tamani in the near corner. And Zach Tamani up to 8 points in this first half. Waltham effective up in transition. And the freshman Ryan Power getting his first points of the night.
And Waltham is just breaking down Milford's press right now. You got to wonder if they need to make an adjustment or maybe just fall back to their normal man-to-man defense.
Shot clock down to 12 as Tamani resets things. They get it to Davila. 3 seconds on the clock. Davila cuts inside. The layup doesn't fall. Milford all of a sudden a bit back on their heels. Evan Clark going to the rim again, this time with no results. Davila takes the long lead pass, and this time the layup lands. 5 points in the second quarter now for Davila. Up to a 6-point lead. And right down the other way, this time for Savaga Boyan. These two teams just trading baskets right now. Cosquet, no good on the jumper.
Both teams are getting very good production out of their bench right now. Evan Clark, Ryan Power, and Savaga Boyan doing very well for Waltham, and Nate Davila is proving very valuable off Milford's bench right now.
A little over 4.5 minutes remain in the half. That's 2 more points for a Boyan. Just a 2-point Milford lead. Tamani, a long way inside, now takes the no-look pass from Shane Cosquet and drains the 3. Puts the lead back at 5. As Waltham slows it down a bit. Waltham turning it over, and now we'll see a host of substitutions. A lot of the starting 5 popping back out on the floor for Waltham after, as you said, Anthony, getting very good production from their bench.
And one thing I've noticed about this game for Milford right now is their bench has been relatively kept short. Waltham now exhibiting most of their bench, while Milford has only gone about 2 or 3 deep.
Breakdown that time for Milford as Tamani sent the pass across court to nowhere. Some miscommunication somewhere on the floor. Milford does bring Brendan White into the game for the first time. Here's the three-point attempt from DeVito. Up to 5 points now. And again, Waltham able to cut it to 2, but Cosquet comes right back and drives inside. We saw good defense through much of the first quarter for both of these teams, but right now the offense is taking center stage. With just over 3 minutes to play until halftime. Waltham swinging it into the corner again for DeVito. A little short on the shot this time. Masick pulls down the rebound. Davila from 3, and Nate Davila really heating up in this second quarter. 8 points, all of them here in the second. Milford staying out in front with 2 of their captains on the bench. Right now, Arcudi and Kelly sitting.
Well, we talked about it yesterday, Tim. Davila was probably the most reliable scorer coming off that Milford bench. He was relatively quiet yesterday, so he's making up for it in this game here today. So far, 8 points now.
White nearly poking that ball free. Instead, Milford commits the foul.
And Masick is not happy with that foul called against him there. That looked like he got all ball.
Sends Darren Batista to the line for the second time. Chance for Waltham to cut the deficit to 5. Batista gets the second one to rattle home. Anthony Arcudi back out on the floor now with just over 2 minutes to play in the half, playing with those 2 fouls.
And I think that's a smart move by Coach Seaver. Part of Waltham's offensive production here came after Arcudi exited the game, as well as the addition of the press, which Waltham is just breaking down relentlessly right now. So I think Arcudi's going to have to be careful, but smart move to get him back on the floor by Coach Seaver.
Meanwhile, Brendan White, an aggressive move to the basket. Yields a trip to the free throw line. Brendan White, one of 3 sophomores on this Milford team. One for 2, that trip to the line for White. Puts Milford's lead at 6. As we travel under 2 minutes to play. Tricky bounce pass inside, and it's plucked away by Davila. He goes coast to coast, turns around, and lays it in for 2.
And that was a fancy move by Davila. Looked like he was going up on the right side of the basket, a little bit of a Euro step, and finished with the right hand on the left side. Nifty move to avoid the block.
An offensive foul. Milford drawing the charge on the other side of the floor. 10 points now for Davila into double figures. All of those points scored here in the second quarter. Getting some extended minutes from Coach Seaver as a result of his hot play.
When you play that well, you got to stay on the floor, especially with that first quarter when both teams were barely scoring any points, 9-6 after that first quarter. Both teams needed a jump start, and for Milford, that's been Davila so far.
Here's Davila again. They feed the hot hand, and he drains the 3. And right now, Davila just cannot miss.
And this crowd is really getting into it now for Milford as Davila continues his hot play.
Gives Milford their largest lead of the day so far at 11 points. Waltham has yet to find an answer for Davila out on the floor as that shot is tipped, ends up in the hands of Alex Masick, and again, they feed it right back to number 0. This time tries to send the pass away, and it gets picked off.
Waltham did a good job that time of closing out on Davila and suffocating him into the corner, getting a couple bigger bodies on him and forced him to turn it over.
Inside move, no good for Savaga Boyan. Still an 11-point lead coming down to the final 30 seconds as Zach Tamani gets the roll around the rim. 13 points so far in the game for Tamani. And matches his game total from 2 nights ago against Tantascwa. Shot clock turned off here inside of the final 10 seconds. That pass handcuffing Matt Lawn. Instead, Waltham unleashes the 3, no good, and no time for Zach Tamani to unleash one final shot. So Milford will head into halftime with their largest lead of the game. It's a 13-point lead as Milford is on top of Waltham 33-20. And again, really the story of that second quarter, Anthony, is the play of Nate Davila.
Absolutely. He came off the bench, and he didn't plan on going back to the bench, Tim. He came out, and he was ready to play. 13 points, all of them, I think you said, in the second quarter, and he was really on fire, especially from distance. Knocked down most of his three-point shots, 13 points. And let's not forget Zach Tamani, too. He also has 13 points, and he's contributed 3 rebounds. We've seen a couple of different scorers being able to contribute for this Milford team. 2 nights ago was Anthony Arcudi. Anthony Arcudi 2 nights ago. Today, it's Zach Tamani and Nate Davila sharing the load. So Waltham is going to have to close out on them when they come back to begin the second half.
Yeah, 2 nights after Anthony Arcudi scored a career-high 22 points, he's been relegated to some lower minutes here tonight due to foul trouble. Just 3 points for the senior captain, but Milford getting the production from other spots, and it totals up to a 33-20 lead for Milford, trying to win their Scarlet Hawk Classic tournament for the 2nd season in a row. We will take a very quick break for halftime, and we will be back with third quarter action next. Coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics right here on Milford TV. Once again, we welcome you back inside the gymnasium at Milford High School. It is time for second half action in this championship game of the Scarlet Hawk Classic between the Milford Scarlet Hawks and the Waltham Hawks. Waltham controls the ball to start this third quarter, and they started off with 2 points as Billy Semeski drains his first bucket of the contest. Semeski got himself into foul trouble early in this game and then sat most of the second quarter. Milford then immediately called for the travel and a chance for Waltham to chip away at the lead, but here Milford comes away with the steal after trapping the ball handler to the sideline, and Zach Tamani goes coast to coast. Tamani had 13 points in the first half and now picking right back up. Tim Coet and Anthony Mazzini bringing you this coverage here on this afternoon in the midst of the holiday break. A 35-22 lead for the Milford Scarlet Hawks. They find Mackey all alone from 3-point range. Excuse me, DeVito, I should say.
Getting your Legion coaches mixed up there, Tim.
They held DeVito to just 5 points in the first half, but can't leave a shooter all alone from 3-point range. Meanwhile, Zach Tamani on the other end, a chance to finish off a 3-point play. The lead up to 38-25, a 13-point lead for the Milford Hawks. Milford committing the foul on the other end. I believe they called that foul on Shane Cosquet as Batista sinks the first free throw.
And I understand the press has its advantages and disadvantages, but right now for Milford it seems to have more disadvantages. Waltham is just breaking it down relentlessly, and it's leading to easy baskets. That time it was a foul and 2 free throws for Batista. So I wonder if Milford will extend it, break it back a little bit, or if they'll just pick their spots of when they decide to do it, because they're getting exposed at the back end.
They leave the ball for Kelly, now back outside for Masick, who continues to be a little gun-shy from beyond the arc. Now they set it up for Cosquet. He unleashes. And nearly bouncing in. Kelly flying in for the rebound, and he gets fouled. And Anthony, so far in the early part of this season, we haven't seen Alex Masick really find his comfort zone on the offensive side of the floor. That three-point shot has been his weapon in the past, and a couple of times in this game and in previous games, we've seen him in position to shoot the three, and he just seems a little hesitant.
Yeah, it almost looks like he's uncomfortable once he gets the ball in his hands. It looks like he doesn't make an attacking attempt to the basket or even spot up for a three. It always looks like he's just trying to quickly get the ball out of his hand. We know he had some sort of an ankle or foot injury last year, so he might be a senior on this team, but he really only has limited experience. So for him, I think he just needs to get a little bit more confidence. Once I think he sees one or two shots fall, I think he'll have the confidence to unleash a little bit more often.
Has been very active on the defensive side of the floor through this early part of the season. That ball getting deflected back and forth. They'll ultimately say it was last touched by Milford.
And if nothing else, Masick down low just represents a big body, especially when they have to give Kelly a rest. He's a good fallback option for them on the defensive end.
Under 6 minutes left to play in the third quarter as Batista sends the shot offline. Anthony Arcudi collects the defensive rebound, and now Tamani again cutting to the basket, but that time can't land the shot.
Tamani getting a little bit too aggressive on that time. Drove in with all the big bodies down low for Waltham, and for a little short guy, wasn't able to get it over the top.
Another miss for Batista. Now Caden Kelly and Matt Lund locking horns. They call for the jump ball. Possession arrow going Milford's way.
Kelly nearing double figures again for the second consecutive game for Milford. He's already up to 7 boards.
Not quite the 21 rebounds we saw out of Kelly in the game against Tantascwa, but terrific numbers nonetheless. The rebounds just coming in bunches for Kelly in each and every game so far on the season. There's a shot from Masick off the mark. Milford controls the offensive rebound. They reset it outside. Arcudi thinks about the three. Instead, they swing it around to Cosquet, who tries to drive inside, gets the floater. And a timeout called on the floor. Milford pulling away a little bit in this one, upping the lead to 42-27 with still 4 minutes and 51 seconds to go in the third quarter. A quick timeout here. We'll be back with more next on Milford TV. Both teams retake the floor on of the timeout. A 42-27 lead for the Scarlet Hawks. Tantascwa gets the ball ahead to Batista. He swings it to DeVito. Milford tries to draw the charge. No whistle. And DeVito gets 2. Mike DeVito up to 10 points now on the afternoon. A 13-point lead for Milford as Cosquet again goes to the basket. This time just could not finish.
Nifty ball handling by Cassette. Batista almost had him in a pickle down near half court, but Shane Cosquet was able to escape the danger and almost finish the layup for Milford.
Kelly and Savaga Boyan both going after that rebound. Boyan called for the foul. There's Tamani. Nate Davila back out on the floor after a sensational second quarter. Masick, a bounce pass into Kelly. Outside to Arcudi. That pass looking for Davila in the corner. Masick ended up with it. And Masick lays that ball in for his first 2 points of the game.
And that was a really good move by Masick there. A little bit of a turnaround block move there. Wasn't able to get the first one, but the second effort was good for 2 as he was able to get his own rebound and finish off the glass. And that's one thing for Milford. I think the guards really dominate their scoring style of play. I think they need to start to look for this game and in the future, look for the big men down low a little bit and use some of their skill sets on the block.
Arcudi comes in from behind along with Tamani to pull off the steal. Now Davila, a great pass on the other end, and Davila lands the basket. Make it 15 points in the game now for Nate Davila after that layup. And Batista left all alone, but that floating shot bounces in and out. Bad luck for the senior captain. Tamani guarded by Batista. The no-look pass in the corner to Arcudi. That whistle stops the clock with 2 minutes and 59 seconds to play in the third quarter. Waltham to inbound. Masick going for the steal, but Waltham able to get the pass away. But Savagaboyan called for the travel. Lead continues to be 17 for the Scarlet Hawks. A win this afternoon would not only give Milford the championship in this invitational, but would also bring the team back to 500. Milford called for the offensive foul as Tamani went to the basket. See Tamani shaking his head. Shot from Aboyan, no good. Another rebound for Kelly. And a bad pass on the other end for Milford results in the turnover.
And with the intensity Waltham is playing with right now, you would never guess that they're down by 17 points. They're still playing very hard. They're trying to get back in this game.
Ball up for grabs, and a couple of players go down. Tamani along with Evan Clark. Tamani gets right back to his feet. Clark a little bit ginger.
Yeah, I think Tamani rolled over on Clark's ankle there. Looks like Clark will be okay staying in the game.
Waltham inbounds in front of their own basket. Excuse me, in front of their own bench, I should say. As quick hands from Zach Tomorrow result in another turnover. Here's Kosket. Unleashes another floater. Gets two more. It's an area of the floor Kosket's been comfortable in tonight.
Yeah, he's been very effective at driving to the hoop. He hasn't been able to shoot the long ball very well this game as he was able last game against Tantascwa. But that play right there was a good example. Surveyed the floor, realized nobody was open, saw an open lane in front of him and took advantage of it in a soft touch around the rim, able to get the lucky bounce for two.
Puts Kosket now at 7 points for the game. And I would think that this is another useful game for Coach Seaver. You're not always going to have those days where Anthony Arcudi, who looks to be really the engine that drives this offense, there are going to be days like today where he's relegated to low points still with just one made basket from the floor, just 3 points on a shot that came all the way back in the first quarter. But despite that lack of offensive production out of Arcudi today, Milford still comfortably in front.
And it shows how versatile this Milford team can be. Tamani and Davila really carrying the scoring load, with Kosket being a secondary option here tonight. But Anthony Arcudi, he's going to have his good games, he's going to have his bad games just like everyone else. But like you mentioned, Tim, it's a good learning experience for Coach Seaver to see who he can call upon when he needs a big bucket, or who he can call upon when he needs somebody to handle the basketball. So games like this are very valuable for a coach as well as for players to realize what can we do better as a team and individually.
As Milford comes out of the timeout, Zach Tamani, Alex Masick, and Caden Kelly all getting a rest with under 2 minutes to play in the third quarter. Mike Traficante out on the floor for the first time tonight. Ryan Power trying a tricky shot there, can't land it. It's Cosquet, Tomorrow, Arcudi, Traficante, and Nate Davila out on the floor. Davila unleashes a three, this time no good.
A rare miss there for Davila tonight.
Jovensi Destine trying to fight through the contact.
If you're Coach Seaver going to the bench here with mostly bench guys now, you just want to monitor the course of this game. You don't want Waltham to find their way back into it when it's too late to get your starters back out there to regain momentum.
Milford able to poke the ball free off the inbounds pass. Traficante falling on it, and Coach Seaver quickly calls the timeout, keeping possession with Milford up 48-29 with 1:19 to go in the third quarter. A quick timeout and more to come next as we bring you coverage of Milford High School boys basketball in the second annual Scarlet Hawk Classic Invitational Tournament here on Milford TV. Zach Tomorrow will inbound the basketball with 1:19 to play in the third quarter. Cosquet now flies up ahead, guarded by Destine. Cosquet now harassed by Destine on the far sideline. Dishes to Davila before getting it back. They wave off the basket. The foul occurring before the shot. Tomorrow now into Arcudi. And Cosquet called for the travel. The pace of this third quarter getting slowed up a bit here in the final minutes. A couple of timeouts and stoppages. Still 52 seconds to play. Clark, the sophomore, gets it back to Jovensi Destine. Now Semeski with the three ball, no good. And Jean Herard into the game, called for the travel, trying to corral that rebound. Zach Tamani back out for the final seconds. About a 4-second difference between shot clock and game clock. So now we see the foul committed away from the basketball.
Yeah, Tamani a little bit out of control. Usually he's good on those drives, but he just has to remember to stay in control and get that ball out of his hands before he barrels into the defender like that. So good job by Waltham to force an offensive foul.
And so the Waltham Hawks take it up the floor. 10 seconds left in the third quarter. Clark swings it around to Semeski. And that shot does not rattle home. And Milford will take a 48-29 lead into the fourth quarter. Seemingly in control of this one, 8 minutes away from winning this invitational for the second straight season. We'll see if they can pull it off as we begin fourth quarter coverage next on Milford TV. This was a close game after the first quarter, just a 9-6 lead for Milford, but since then, Milford outscoring Waltham 24-14 in the second quarter and 15-9 in the third quarter, and it all totals up to a 48-29 lead for Milford now into the fourth quarter, and we'll immediately see free throws out of Jovensi Destine for Waltham.
And I'm a little bit surprised with Coach Wilder, for Waltham. Usually when you're in a championship game and you're down by now 18 points, you don't usually see your bench too much. You usually stick with the guys, your starters, who can give you reliable minutes and score the basketball for you. I'm not saying that this bench can't, but Coach Wilder must have a lot of confidence in his bench, considering they're playing mostly bench guys right now when you're down by 17 points in a championship game.
Those 2 free throws bringing Waltham's point total up to 31. Couple of chances inside, and Brendan White able to connect. Gets his first shot from the field tonight. Quickly ahead to the sophomore Evan Clark before bringing it back out to Destine. Destine double teamed inside. Yovency Destine right now, the main offensive force out there for the Waltham Hawks.
Looks like Waltham's going to get their big weapons off the bench now with DeVito and Batista coming back into the game, looking to provide a spark for Waltham.
Waltham committing the turnover. Milford bringing the ball up. Now a minute into this 4th quarter. And the 3 ball good for Zach Tomorrow. And now the steal and a quick set of buckets for Tomorrow, back-to-back, the 3, and now the layups for 5 quick 4th quarter points.
And that was how the zone was supposed to be working all game. Anticipation by Tomorrow is one of the back forces. That was really the first time it worked all day for Milford, but it worked out well. Tomorrow coming away with 2 points on an easy layup.
Zach Tomorrow garnering more and more minutes from Coach Seaver through this early 6-game stretch of the season. DeVito able to make the 2nd free throw. And now a quick whistle as the foul is called on Jean Herard. Milford with 2 of their captains out on the floor with Tamani and Arcudi, along with Brendan White, Zach Tomorrow, and Mike Traficante. Dangerous pass inside. That took a hard ricochet. It looked like it got Kevin McAvoy under the chin.
Looked like it got Arcudi in the face before it got McAvoy under the chin, but both guys seem to be all right.
It ends up as Waltham basketball with 6:15 to play in the game. Batista, the outside feed to Torres. Now it's DeVito.
One
14 points in the game for DeVito.
Sorry about that, Tim, but one thing I've noticed about DeVito so far is he doesn't seem very comfortable putting the ball on the floor. He's more of a back to the basket player, or he needs to catch and shoot. So I think for Milford, you got to start putting him in some tougher situations where he maybe needs to put the ball on the floor where he's not as comfortable.
Mike DeVito led the offensive effort for Waltham in their victory over Norwood 2 nights ago with 19 points. Brendan White, dives to the floor, able to collect that ball, alertly calls the timeout. And it was granted, so it allows Milford to retain possession. Good heads-up play by the sophomore Brendan White.
A little bit of a slip there by the referees, I think, and a little bit of a slip on behalf of Brendan White. Slid halfway across the floor, almost ended up at the mid-court line. I think that one should have been a travel, but good call by Brendan White to be able to get that timeout call.
Milford talks things over quickly before sending their 5 back out on the floor. Tamani with Nate Davila, Mike Traficante, Zach Tomorrow, and Brendan White. As Waltham continues to talk things over, it's an even 20-point advantage for the Scarlet Hawks. Milford has had a lead in the mid-teens or more for most of the second half. 55-35 lead. Milford scoring 69 points in their victory against Tantascwa. So the offense coming back to life in this tournament. This may have been just the thing the Scarlet Hawks needed, as that time Tamani gets stuffed. The turnover, and Kyle Torres the other way. Can't land the layup, but he will head to the free throw line. Torres a chance to get on the score sheet for the first time. Since the first free throw off the back iron. Zach Tomorrow heads to the bench, gets a big round of applause from the Milford crowd as Torres misses both free throws, but Waltham able to control the initial rebound. Couldn't turn it into points. This crowd hoping to see a basket out of Mike Traficante. They won't get it on this trip up the floor.
Yeah, he really struggled in his last game. Not only did he airball a free throw, but he airballed a couple shots from the floor. So he's been struggling a little bit, but he has the talent and the height and the length down low to be an effective player for Milford this season.
They set it up for Davila. No good, but there's Traficante with the rebound. Tries to get the second chance points. No good, but Brendan White gets the kiss off the glass.
Good hustle by Brendan White. He's all over the floor, and he's a big body down low. Only a sophomore for Milford, so Coach Seaver has a lot to look forward to in that young man.
Batista can't land the jumper the other way. Now gets set up for the three-pointer, misses everything, and the Milford student section lets him know it.
Student section that isn't as enthusiastic as it was the last game against Tantascwa. They're just about as large in number, but not as enthusiastic. I wonder if that has anything to do with the time switch. Usually the high school kids come a little bit more alive at night than they do during the day.
Not quite the same feel with a game that started at 2:30 in the afternoon.
They're probably still half asleep, Tim.
Rolling out of bed just in time to come down to the high school and take in some championship basketball here in this invitational tournament. Quick hands for Davila, jarred that ball free. Milford controls it. Looking to further increase this lead with just over 4 minutes to play, and Nate Davila increases his impressive point total on the night. Masick tries for the block. Instead gets called for the foul, and a chance for a three-point play for the Waltham Warriors. To the line goes Justin Patine.
A great crossover there by Patine, just left Masick flat-footed. All Masick could do was foul him, but what a move. Great crossover, quick first step for Patine, and he's able to finish at the rim and get the foul, so he'll look to complete the three-point play.
For the second game in a row, we start to see Coach Seaver dipping deeper into the bench as Pat Brajoli and Paul Speliakos come into the game. Speliakos immediately gets a hearty cheer from the student section. Brendan White gets the ball away to Davila. Speliakos running point. Pass on the move to Davila, now momentarily loses track. Speliakos trying to go to the rim, gets rejected. They'll call it a shot clock violation against Milford after that ball was swatted out of play.
And for Waltham, that's a little welcome to the game there for Speliakos. Quick block on their behalf. Speliakos will look to shake that off.
The lead is 21 for the Scarlet Hawks. as Patine's shot is short. And now Speliakos in trouble. He has the ball plucked away. Speliakos called for the foul.
Joey DeMarco, number 5, also checked into the game now for Milford. We saw a lot more of him in the game against Tantascwa, but this is only his first action here tonight. He played a pretty large role in that win against Tantascwa 2 nights ago.
Patine misses on the first attempt. Patine, a captain in his junior season. He has just 3 points so far in this one. Can make it 4 as he makes the second free throw. Basketball ends up in the Milford bench. It will stay Hawks ball with 23 seconds on the shot clock, but that ball tipped away from Speliakos. Clark going up for the layup. And we might see another quick foul. Indeed we do on Paul Speliakos. Coach Seaver, you can hear, not happy with the sloppy play that is getting right now out of his bench.
Well, he has to expect a little bit of it. These are guys that don't get to play very much on a night in and night out basis, but you know, when you get these games that you get called on, you want to go in and put your best foot forward to impress the coach. So far, not a good job by the reserves.
Evan Clark, a make and a miss. Speliakos, White, DeMarco, Traficante, and Brigioli, the 5 on the floor right now for the Scarlet Hawks. As another dangerous pass nearly gets tipped away, Brigioli was able to control it briefly. Milford turns it over yet again. Check that, a foul called against the Scarlet Hawks, so we will see free throws down the other end. And we'll see how much longer Coach Seaver will keep this unit out there on the court. Granted, still a large lead, but a lot of fouls and a lot of turnovers and not much in the way of points.
And this is one of those situations that I was talking about earlier, Tim, where you want to monitor how the game's going. You don't want it getting out of hand. Yeah, it's still an 19-point lead, and Waltham isn't helping their cause by not making free throws. But this is one of those situations where you don't want it to get out of hand and put the starters back in where they can't make a difference and it's already too late.
Again, Milford turns the basketball over. We tick down to 2 minutes to play. Missed shot for Waltham, but they collect the offensive rebound. At a 2 from number 2, Kyle Torres, no good. Speliakos against Herard. Ball ends up out of play. More personnel brought in for Coach Seaver. Danny Corsini into the game. Steve Sutherland also onto the floor as that ball drifts off into the corner. Waltham can't save it. 90 seconds to play. Milford 90 seconds away from hoisting the trophy in this tournament. And a timeout is called. Again, 1 minute and 30 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. It is a 59-40 Scarlet Hawks lead. We will see the final moments of this fourth quarter take place when we come back next on Milford TV. Set to resume play. The bounce pass into Joey DeMarco. Pass handled by Speliakos. Sutherland's pass is intercepted. Evan Clark taking it the other way for 2. The lead at 17 now for Milford as they turn it over again. And Evan Clark turns it into points.
Very sloppy out of the Milford reserves right now. They got to clean that up.
Right now the Hawks just trying to drain the rest of this clock. Their point total has been frozen at 59 for much of these final 2+ minutes. They're able to get a shot away on that possession, but no points to speak of. And with 30 seconds, the Waltham Hawks take it back up the floor. A cut to the basket for Ryan Power, and he will head to the free throw line.
Looks like Coach Seaver is doing something he did not want to do and put some of his regular guys back in the game. But he's kind of, the reserves have forced his hand a little bit now, not being able to get the ball up the court or keep control of it effectively.
An opportunity here for some of the players further down on the bench to prove that they have the opportunity to get some more playing time. Instead, a lot of turnovers, a lot of sloppy play, and you can see, despite Milford being seconds away from coming away with a win in this tournament, Coach Seaver is not at all pleased on the sideline.
Well, Milford seemed to be guaranteed a win, even if those starters would have played the rest of the game, but it's more of a statement on behalf of Coach Seaver, if nothing else.
They turn it over at midcourt. 15 seconds left, and these are 15 seconds that can't tick off the clock fast enough for head coach Paul Seaver. Sending Shane Cosquet and Brendan White along with Zach Tamaro back out on the floor, and after that miss, Milford will drain the rest of the clock as Cosquet dumps the pass away to Brendan White. And the final seconds tick down in what is a 59-46 win for the Milford Scarlet Hawks. A victory in the first round against Tantascwa, a victory here tonight against the Waltham Hawks, and Milford, for the second year in a row indeed, will come away with the win in their Scarlet Hawk Classic Invitational Tournament. And Anthony, with the exception of those final minutes there with some sloppy play out of the bench, overall Milford really showcasing a lot of skill here over these last 2 games.
Yeah, unfortunately those last 2 or 3 minutes there really put a damper on what was really an excellent win for Milford. They came out firing on all cylinders again. The first quarter, mainly defensive, as we touched upon. Really not a lot of points scored, but after that, Milford went to town. Zach Tamani and Nate Davila leading the way. Tamani with 18 and Nate Davila with 17. Really a spark off the bench that Milford needed after that lackluster first quarter offensively. And really, they just played very well. Defensively, down low, they controlled the boards, they controlled the blocks, the assists. They were all over the place. Milford in these tournaments really seems to excel. They really play to the home crowd. The home crowd showed up for them. And Waltham, they didn't play all that bad, but they were just overcome by Milford today.
And you can see right now, Milford about to be handed some hardware as athletic director Peter Boucher is out at midcourt right now. The entire Milford Scarlet Hawks team right now out there as well. And it was a bit of a somber end to the game, so Milford with the smiles returning to their faces now as they have this win within their grasp. And the trophy now in the hands of the 3 captains, Caden Kelly, Zach Tamani, and Anthony Arcudi, getting the photo op along with the Milford coaching staff. It's the second year in a row they've had a chance to enjoy that trophy in their hands. Last season coming at a crucial time late in the season as Milford pushed their way towards a playoff berth. And Anthony, again, this was a team that came into this tournament with just 1 win to speak of, 1-3 overall on the season, but they come away with 2 emphatic victories. They pull themselves back to the 500 mark overall on the season, and hopefully this is some momentum they can build on as they get back into their league schedule.
This is definitely a team that was struggling. Like you said, they came in at 1-3, having won their first game, and then dropping 3 straight. So this was really a statement. A couple of wins here for Milford proves that they can play with some really, really good teams. Not saying they're better teams than what they're going to face in the Hawk, but these are two very, very talented teams. Tantascwa, you mentioned last year, coming off of a very successful season that saw them go very far in the playoffs, and Waltham played very, very tough against Norwood. So these are three very good teams that Milford showed in this tournament. Unfortunately, they only were able to play 2 of them, but very, very, very good statement wins for Milford, and they'll look to carry this momentum for their upcoming games and for the rest of the season, and hopefully they'll be able to return to playoff form once the end of the season rolls around.
Milford's next game action will come up on January 4th with a game against Medway, so another non-conference game on the horizon for Milford. They'll be away from the home gym for the next 2 games, taking on Medway and Stoughton, their first Davenport Division opponent of the season, before they return home for back-to-back games against Canton and Foxborough. That is when we will have coverage of this boys team next. But in the meantime, a very good victory here, claiming victory in the Scarlet Hawk Classic Tournament. And a thank you to our crew from Milford TV on hand for this game this afternoon. Our director, Rob O'Keefe, our camera operators, Mike Sperling, Malcolm Zale, and Joey Marcello. And for Anthony Mazzini, I am Tim Coet. That final score, one final time, Milford wins the Scarlet Hawk Classic by defeating Waltham by a final score of 59-46. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics right here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.
Thank you. 2 in a row. Gotta love it.